All right, I don't have an opening statement, so I'll take the any questions.
Tell us more about Cuba.
I'll be headed there in May.
What do you hope to accomplish with the trip?
So the U.S. Conference of Mayors is hoping to establish a relationship with the country. There are so many things that I know that they can learn from us, we can learn from them. Cuba's our neighbor, and we will continue to look for opportunities to collaborate, whether it's economic development. You know, a lot of the mayors have a big investment in tourism, so there might be possibilities there. You know, it's pretty open.
Have you ever thought that you would even be going to Cuba in your lifetime?
I really never thought about it, actually. I didn't, I guess I should say I did not anticipate this level of openness in my lifetime. But I can say, talking to people who have been, that you know, while they certainly have their challenges, as many countries do around the country, that it is a beautiful place with very proud traditions.
Are there any specific trade or tourism opportunities you see for the city in Cuba?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm certainly, we have time until we head over at the end of May to make more specific you know, goals for particularly for Baltimore, but I'm headed there primarily as the president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors.
And likewise with Qatar, what are some of the goals going into that trip?
Qatar has expressed interest in having a closer relationship with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. As president, I'll lead that delegation. I think there may be opportunities for Baltimore with all of the, they're doing a lot of infrastructure work, we're doing a lot of infrastructure work. There might be some lessons learned there, but again, primarily both of these trips are in my role as president of the conference, and not, you know, the conference is paying for me to go. This isn't a Baltimore trip.
Madam Mayor, does your usual security force go with you on these trips, or is that something?
I don't believe so, but I can certainly give you that get that information to you.
Do you have any concerns that your first trip takes you out of town during the anniversary of the Freddie Gray arrest?
No.
Have you responded to, I think I read somewhere yesterday, that the governor is going to turn control of the liquor board over to the city? Am I correct about that?
Say that again. Have I responded?
The governor is going to cede control of
yes,
the liquor board.
Cede nominating liquor board.
Right. So I've been working to reform the liquor board for years. And the progress that we've made in reforming the liquor board has been made, you know, significantly. The efforts that I've made have impacted the reform efforts to date. I have said for years that the liquor board does not answer to me or you know, to the elected officials on the city council. However, the residents don't have any expectation of anything less. Their expectation is that we tell the liquor board what to do, and they're accountable directly to us, and that is not the case. And because of that, there's been frustration in neighborhoods across the city for years around decisions that the liquor board has made or actions not taken. I think this will give us an opportunity to have more accountability and transparency with the liquor board, and hopefully a board that is that holds a better balance between neighborhood interests and business interests.
What's your opinion of their? There's been a lot of criticism of the current board. Do you share that criticism?
I mean, I think that's neither here nor there. They're on their way out. I'm looking forward to a new board that, again, takes their role seriously and takes. And when I say that, you know, I don't think that any board that is acting in this sort of judicial capacity should side with one or the other all of the time. But the balance, I think, the criticism of the board historically has been that the balance toward business and against neighborhoods has hurt our ability to strengthen neighborhoods and to give the control and the influence that the residents deserve. It has prevented that. And I think having a new board, again, with more accountability directly to the city, with more transparency, will be helpful to our efforts to continue to grow the city.
I know it's early. Any thoughts of folks that you might try to nominate for that board?
We've certainly given it some thought, but I don't have any names yet.
Okay. I'm not going to say Steve Fogelman or
Where do you live? Do you live in the city? Maybe I'll get you on
I
there.
do live in the city.
Mayor, you had said in no uncertain terms last week that you've done everything you can. You quadrupled the amount of investment in vacant demolition. After we drilled down into some numbers that the housing department had provided to understand that some of these homes are being inspected every 10 days. That's how kind of on the cusp that they might be. Some residents have reacted by saying just tear them down, but the housing department says some of them might appeal to a developer to rehabilitate. What do you think about these houses that are kind of so close to the edge that they have to be re-inspected so frequently?
That is not new. This is something that's been going on for years. We have a city that has suffered from decades, generations of blight and abandonment. This is a symptom of that. Just as if once you put salt down, you're going to see potholes. Yet every year when the potholes come up in the winter, everyone's like, "Oh my God, they're potholes." This happens. This is, it is cause and effect. So because we understand that, that's why there's the aggressive inspection process. Does it mean that we don't look for ways to enhance what we're able to do to try to get on a better handle of the homes that are on the edge or vulnerable to fall down? Absolutely not. They understand that the housing department understands that we have to remain very vigilant and look for ways, just as we do across the board, to be more effective and efficient with our resources and identify those buildings and do what we can with the resources that we have to try to prevent the buildings from falling down, with the understanding that you can do a whole lot of planning, you can do a whole lot of inspection, but Mother Nature has her own plans.
Madam Mayor,
Often. Let me go in the back.
Thank you so much. I was curious about if the city's going to do anything formal to commemorate the arrest and/or the death of Freddie Gray next week and the week after.
So I know that there are things that we're planning to do in collaboration with other organizations. I don't have that list in front of me. We can certainly follow up.
Okay, thank you.
And Madam Mayor, how much safer are prisoners in the backs of police vans today as compared to a year ago?
I think it's hard to quantify exactly how much safer they are, but I can talk about the fact that there's been the orders or police orders around how we transport prisoners or individuals who are in custody. That has been enhanced. The cameras are going in the vans. That helps with accountability and transparency. We've also improved the vans, ordered new vans. So we've certainly done things from training to more clarity around the orders and enhanced equipment to provide a safer environment, as well as provide accountability and transparency.
It is almost a year later. As you see it, is there a measurable effect of his death, the unrest, and then the charging of the officers, everything that has happened surrounding this particular police in custody death? Is there a measurable impact on the policing practices in the city as you see it?
I think from his death to the riots and the unrest, there have been significant changes that have been made, from training to equipment. in so many ways there have been changes, improvements, lessons learned. I think it's hard to quantify that, and especially when at the underneath all of this you have someone who's lost a life. So I think it's a little crass to try to give a quantify that when I don't think that there's a way to quantify on the other side what the value of one life is.
I want to trail back to Donna's question about the anniversary in the city. It kind of goes into, are there being plans discussed? I know Pastor Jamal Bryant is planning a march from Northwest Baltimore down to City Hall the week of. Is there any talk about how to keep things calm and peaceful during that week?
There are definitely plans to ensure that the publicized events have the proper police detailed to them, and I think that we've seen, particularly after the hung jury with the first police trial, what we saw was a police department that was prepared, and we were able to have protests that were peaceful, and when things, when there was any thought of things getting out of hand, it was very swiftly handled. I think that we'll continue to see that in the future.
So any update on the DOJ, the status of the DOJ review and how close we might be to the completion?
No, not yet. No update yet.
I'd like to, you have, I've been standing here for the past 5 or 6 years, you have periodically talked about what is going on with the numbers of complaints of police misconduct and brutality. There is, that has become a political message of one of the candidates that during her reign as mayor, crime went down and so did complaints. That seems to contrast with what I've heard this administration say over the past 4 or 5 years. So what is the accurate record of the trends in those columns?
So while I don't have the numbers in front of me, my administration has on repeated occasion put out the numbers that compare and contrast with previous administrations. And I don't believe that any statement that suggests that police brutality and complaints were down under the previous administration, I do not believe that that is accurate. I think that you can repeat something again and again, that does not make it true.
If I may ask one more question about the vacant issue. In some of our reporting yesterday, we had researched what other cities do, and several people had said that Baltimore is very progressive in handling the vacant issue. Was there any city that you looked to that did it right, or a city that did made some missteps in handling vacants as post-industrial cities tried to downsize? Is there any models out there for good or bad?
I think there are a lot of models that we looked at in developing vacants to value. The specific cities I can certainly get you. The fact that vacants to value is widely regarded as one of the nation's most progressive, innovative, and effective blight elimination plans, I think goes to show that even when you are internationally recognized as being aggressive and effective with dealing with vacant homes, if you have a old city that has significant problems, you're going to continue to have these problems. There's the issue of vacant homes is not stagnant. As much as I would like to get younger every day, I don't, neither do the homes. So we will continue, the problems will continue to compound. Again, that's why it was so important for me to develop a initiative when we developed vacants to value that worked, and that was different, and that was bolder, and that was more effective. Does it mean that we can go to bed and wake up and the city will be back where it was when we had almost 1 million people and barely any vacant homes? Absolutely not, because it didn't get this way overnight. But what I can say is there's a comprehensive plan that is showing that it's making a difference, and so much so that the governor even invested in significant ways in our effort. And what I know is staying on that path, continuing to make increased investments, will do better. But it doesn't mean that we'll be able to eliminate all of the vacant structures overnight.
Madam Mayor, how does vacancy value prioritize which houses to demolish when?
I can certainly put you in touch with housing to get that information.
Doesn't vacancy value mostly deal with areas where the market has interest? Because the one criticism I've often heard is places like Rosemont, vacancy value might not necessarily work there because no one in the market is interested in investing there.
So the great part about vacancy value is it's not just one strategy, it is a collection of strategies. And for those areas like Rosemont where we know that the market will lag, that's where we are doing the demolitions and turning those green spaces, turning those then, leveled spaces into community green spaces. And we've done that over 800 times around the city. The point of that is the market might lag, but it doesn't mean that the community still has to suffer. We've partnered with the Vista volunteers, community organizations, and not-for-profits to transform these vacant and blighted areas into something that is desired and designed by the community, and will ensure that while they wait for the market to catch up, they don't have to do it at the same time that they're looking at these blighted and abandoned buildings.
Madam Mayor, what else can the city do for someone who owns a vacant house who's been given notice, okay, you've got to either rehab this or demo it, and they're not doing anything? What more can the city do to speed up that process?
It just depends on if it sweeps or not. If it sweeps, we're way too aggressive, and we are stealing people's homes. If it's not sweeps, you listen to the residents who said, please be aggressive, and going after using receivership as we have, taking these properties out of the hands of the absentee landlords, which is what we've done in a more significant way that's been done since any time that I've been in office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.